All right, everyone, welcome back. We're jumping right into it today. We're doing a deep dive into something pretty heavy.
Yeah.
A recent attack by Boko Haram
Yeah, absolutely.
on a Chadian military base. And we've got a report here from Restore Nigeria News
Right.
that lays it all out. And
Yeah.
it's just brutal what happened. So
It is.
we're going to look at what this could all mean.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need to kind of...
Yeah, for the region, what this means for Boko Haram.
Yeah, the implications are pretty huge, potentially, I think.
Yeah.
For the whole region, this is a big one.
So let's just start with the attack itself.
Okay.
It took place October 27th,
Mm-hmm.
pretty late at night,
Yeah.
around 10 p.m.,
Right.
near Ngubua in
Mhm.
Chad. And this is really close to the border with Nigeria. So
Yeah, and that's...
yeah, this is going to be a key part of understanding why I think this attack was so effective.
Yeah.
It says here something like 40 Chaldean soldiers were killed.
Yeah, it's a shocking number, and the report goes into some detail about, it wasn't just a straightforward attack. It was they completely overwhelmed the garrison.
Yeah.
Seized weapons, burned vehicles that were equipped with heavy artillery before they retreated.
Wow.
So this was very much a planned.
Yeah, this wasn't just like
This was a
calculated, devastating attack.
It makes you wonder how they were able to pull this off.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, was there some intelligence failure did they have?
yeah.
Inside help.
Inside help, intelligence failure.
The report also mentions that the unit commander was killed.
Yes, which is, another tragedy on top of everything else.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a lot of questions to be answered.
So the report goes on to talk about how President Darby visited the site the very next day,
Yeah,
and he launched an operation to pursue the attackers.
of course, yeah.
General Tijani, he's the regional governor, he was quoted as saying the situation's under control.
But, I mean, given what we've just talked about, the terrain and everything.
Well, exact. I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Because the Lake Chad Basin, it's just a nightmare logistically to try and control.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got these vast waterways, countless islands. It's basically a haven for groups like Boko Haram.
Right, it's so easy to just
Disappear.
melt away, yeah. Launch the attack and then just disappear back into,
Yeah.
the shadows.
So let's talk about Boko Haram.
Okay.
For those who might not be totally familiar, maybe give us a little rundown of who they are.
Sure. So Boko Haram, it roughly translates to Western education is forbidden.
Okay.
And they've been terrorizing the region for over a decade now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're known for their brutality and their absolute opposition to anything to do with secular governance.
Right.
They've carried out mass kidnappings, bombings, attacks on both military and civilian targets. And it's important to also mention their offshoot ISWAP, the Islamic State in West Africa.
So is that which complicates things even further?
A rival group, or are they?
Well, it's complicated.
Okay.
It's not straightforward. They share a common ideology, but the relationship between the two groups has been marked by,
Right.
sometimes they'll cooperate on attacks, sometimes they clash over territory and resources. It's very difficult to predict their actions.
Yeah.
And therefore very difficult to come up with effective counter strategies.
So, okay, we've covered the attack itself, the aftermath,
Right.
the players involved, but what does it all mean?
Well, that's the crucial question, isn't it? I mean, what are the ramifications of this?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it demonstrates very clearly that Boko Haram, despite years of counterinsurgency efforts from various governments, remains a potent threat.
Yeah, it's a huge blow.
I mean, this could embolden them to carry out even more audacious attacks.
Right, and I think it also undermines
Absolutely.
the Chadian government's efforts to stabilize the region.
Yeah, they can't protect their own military bases.
Yeah, how are they going to protect civilians?
Exactly. And that sense of vulnerability can further destabilize the region.
Right.
Make it more difficult to attract investment, provide essential services, foster economic development. I mean, it just creates this vicious cycle, which is very hard to break out of.
So for everyone listening out there, I mean, just think about this.
Yeah.
Knowing the terrain, how entrenched these groups are, what can really be done to combat this?
Well, I think that's the question we all need to be asking, isn't it? I mean, is a purely military solution even possible?
Right.
Or do we need to be thinking about much more nuanced approaches and engaging with all the sort of the political and social and economic factors that are feeding into this whole mess?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think you're right. There are no easy answers.
No.
But understanding the complexities is certainly the first step.
It is, yeah.
To finding any kind of solution.
So keep digging, keep learning, and keep asking those tough questions, everyone.
Absolutely.
That's all for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you next time.